Hey everybody, it's Master Galengeist here, bringing you my review of the anime Brand New Animal Season 1 on Netflix. And I really enjoyed this anime because it just really had a good story, good characters, and fucking amazing animation. I really love Studio Trigger's work, and this was just a kind of cool world that they have made, and it really worked very well of doing episodic stories while linking together with a good overarching narrative of what's going on. So we start off and we're introduced to this world where there's humans and there's beastkin, like beastmen. And these people have the ability to transform into animals and everything like this. So we see this one girl who's a tanuki, and she's trying to get money and everything, and we're like, what's going on? And there's this like group of hoodlums pretty much doing stuff and trying to go after beastmen. It's like, why? Just because people are assholes and people are dick shits, and this is how it goes. Because the anti-beastman sentiment is going pretty much crazy. It's like shit. And there's one place, Anima City, where she's trying to get to, and then we see this action sequence as these assholes are pretty much getting ready to try and pretty much either beat the ever living shit out of her or kill her ass. But then this other group of beastmen pop up. This one, Mink Marie, helps her out, and she's like, "Yeah, well, how much is it going to cost me? How much you got?" But she holds out a little bit because she's able to get to Anima City while the festival's going on. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool. Even though it's kind of creepy at first because there's nobody there, and then everything kind of pops up. And we see this one dude's like, "Wow, it's 1,000 years and everything," crying and everything. I'm like, what the fuck's going on with you? But then, of course, she runs back into Marie. She gets her wallet stolen. She's trying to go after the monkey dude, and she's like at this weird kind of monitor kind of place, and she's like banging on it. But this one dude had left something there, and it explodes. And of course, the wolf dude that we'd seen before is going after her first. Be like, "What the fuck do you do?" He's like, "I don't fucking do shit." And he then goes off and is able to find the people. They were paid by anti-beastmen people to pretty much start shit. And of course, this enrages him because he's really prejudiced against humans, but he has kind of a reason to be. Well, at first he's got a reason to be that he thinks, but then when he learns more information, it's not exactly what he thinks. So then, of course, Michiru, the Tanuki girl, pops up and stops him from pretty much killing them. They're like, "No, I used to be a human too." It's like, holy shit, what's going on? And we start learning more about her as we see that suddenly one day she turned into Beastman. She pretty much locked herself up until she decided, "I can't do this," and decides to leave her parents and goes off. And this is kind of important because we don't really see too much more from her parents other than when she's able to get onto essentially the world's version of Facebook and sees that her parents left a birthday kind of message on her thing, and it's like, that's really kind of cool. But she's trying to deal with stuff. She gets into this kind of group with this co-op kind of thing with this husband wife kind of thing. She's like, all right, cool. It's really kind of weird because she's like supposed to be a high school student and she's not doing any high school things, but she's trying to navigate this crazy ass city where people are like doing crazy and insane shit. So she at first is like, okay, so that Shiro dude's here. He does this kind of stuff. He's an advisor to the mayor and all that. It's like, all right, fine. She goes on a quest to kind of figure out what's going on with her wallet. Gets in this group of like gang people, and yeah, we'll give you your thing back so that you can prove that she's human. Just teach these kids how to read and write, kind of shit. Like, all right, fine. She's doing her thing and all that. We see Shiro's looking in, but they're like, yeah, we don't have enough time, so we're just gonna sell you all. It's like, you bitch. And of course, she's able to start using more of her powers because not only is she able to be a beast man now, Tanuki, but she's able to modify and start changing up what's going on with her body. Like she can then lengthen her arms. Like, what the fuck? They're able to get them out. Shiro, of course, pops up. They arrest them. It's like, this is how this city works. Like, no, that's not cool, man. Fuck that noise. Then she starts kind of going through all these other kind of things. She does this whole baseball thing, showing that she can do like cheetah legs, gorilla arms, and everything. That was pretty funny because she pretty much gets dragged into this Bears baseball team, but the coach has pretty much been trying to lose. So that way because everybody bets on all this stuff, and of course Shiro's job was to try and get in on the bets, but not in on the bets to like actually profit off them, but to stop them because that's what the mayor wanted to happen. But we see that she gets to the point where they're just playing and everything because she doesn't have basketball anymore. She was really into basketball when she was a human. We see that as we saw that her best friend Nazuna was going to be an idol, and that becomes important because the character comes back as we see that she evidently turned into a beastman as well and got taken off and like kidnapped. She's like, what the fuck? So they kind of keep going through things. They see that there's a bombing going on at the Solvasta Center, and Alan Solvasta is the dude in charge of that. They're the medical thing going on. Of course, Michiru tells the mayor about how she used to be human. It's like, yeah, they'll probably help you out and try and get a cure for your beastmanitis kind of shit. And it's like, okay, let's see how that kind of works. And we see that something's not quite right with what's going on in this place because these two guys blew up this thing and used like these terroristic threats as cover for it. And the Solvasta dude kind of has an idea of what's going on. There's like something going weird because one of the scientists was like, hey, we wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for you. Like, what the fuck's going on with that from each year? All right. We also then see that other groups start to kind of get into play here. And we see that this cult of the Silver Wolf is popping up because that's their kind of deity and everything. Protects everyone, protects all the beastmen and everything. We see that Nazuna is that beastman. She's kind of got the same thing except she's got better control of her transformations, and she's pretty much using it to be an idol and acts like a real asshole towards Michiru and using her and trying to flip and gaslight her on a lot of kind of shit. It's like making her feel bad for doing all this shit. That's not cool. Because in the beginning she's like, oh yeah, the mayor's refusing to see us and all that kind of stuff. She's like, yeah, it's kind of weird because we want people to come into Anima City, but we have to watch out with what's going on. Alan Solvasta is like, you don't kind of want to do that, but there's kind of reasons that he's doing all these orchestrating kind of effects. Of course, Michiru tries to get an audience with the mayor. She knows the whole her routine, and then Nazuna kind of just like goes and does her own thing and is able to work out a thing for the whole cult of the Silver Wolf kind of thing. And she can even transform similarly to the Silver Wolf dude that we've seen. It's like, interesting, but it's all a sham because she's not the Silver Wolf. She's like, listen, I'm an idol. I make people feel better. Screw you on your kind of shit. I didn't ask you to help me out. I didn't ask you to do all of these things. You did these on your own kind of shit. It's like, no. Fuck you on that shit. So my first impression of her was like, no. And then we start seeing all these kind of things going on throughout the city. We see that her handler, which is an old creepy dude, goes and talks to one of the people in jail, the rhino dude that we had seen as one of the scientists, and he goes fucking berserk. And Michiru and Shiro have to work together, get him to a kind of secluded place, and he's just going off him. I'm like, what's going on here? And Shiro has to unleash his Silver Wolf abilities to take him out, and unfortunately, his only option is to murder the dude. Well, it's not really murder the dude, kill the dude to stop him from doing what's going on. And then we get the whole kind of spiel of what's going on with Shiro. He's over 1,000 years old. He's immortal because there was a city, Nervasil, which was kind of similar to Anima City. Beastmen, humans, everything was going on, but to their knowledge, this group, which has a logo that's similar to the Solvasta of humans, had evidently come in and wiped him out, killed Shiro, and he was like thrown in this like pool of blood. It like went into him. He transformed into the Silver Wolf and went after them, but he wasn't able to find the general. So he kind of kept going around trying to protect Beastmen and everything. Get to World War II, see that they were experimenting on Beastmen. He goes through, pretty much slaughters them all, and says that he will not use that power again. And that's where he met up with Mayor Rose, and that's how they become friends. I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting, and that's a pretty good backstory. It's like, shit, that's why he's got the animosity towards humans of Nervasil and World War II. And I'm like, yep. I can't blame him for that, but I wouldn't take it that far. I wouldn't paint a whole group like that. But we see that he learns that as well. We also see that Michiru learns that as well. And like, listen, talking about how she used to be human and didn't know a lot of stuff about Beastmen and is learning a lot of stuff. And she's like, yeah, I'm fine with keeping the secret and everything. And we see all these different kind of things going on. We see that Alan's Celeste is making moves and doing all these kind of things. We're like, all right, let's kind of see what's going on, doing all these kind of drone shit. We see that Nazuna's doing her kind of cult of the Silver Wolf, and just I'm like, you have to be careful when you do. There's an idol, and then there's acting like an idol to a cult, and that gets a lot more dangerous. Now, granted, it's like helping people out, getting them like food and all that, but it starts getting into a place where we see that Nazuna goes to the medical center. Michiru thinks she's getting kidnapped again. Of course, she tries to pretty much tell her to fuck off, but Alan Celeste explains what happened is that when, like, right before they had turned into Beastmen, they were doing their things, and Nazuna was almost hit by a vehicle, and Michiru saved her life, and they both were injured. Well, the blood that was used for them was from Beastmen, and it accidentally got shifted up, and Alan Celeste has been like trying to figure out what to do with that shit and try and help them. It's like, okay, cool, that's all right, yeah, but is it? As we find what's going on, as we see one other person, Beastman, starts going kind of enraged and everything, they're able to capture him, but we find out by Alan that he is trying to remove the ability for them to be Beastmen, change them, pretty much force them against their will, because there's this Nervacil syndrome where when you get all these different kind of animals together and all these different kind of groups, they start fighting over territory and everything, and that's what led to what happened at Nervacil. Now, I think that definitely is what happened, but I think that the Celestas kind of helped to do that, because as we learned, he is not a human. He is a purebred beast man, and looks down on like Shiro and the rest, because they're all hybrids. They all have different kind of bloodlines and everything from various different beastmen in them. Like Shiro, that's how he was able to do it, because evidently Alan can do a similar kind of transformation that Shiro can do, but it took like the blood of like 1,000 wolves to do it. Now, see, we don't learn that until like it gets a little bit further in, but that kind of explains his rationale of what's going on, and that his objective is to use the concert to kind of touch off the whole Nervacil syndrome and turn all the beastmen into humans. So that way, him and his purebreds can control things from the shadows. Like, look, racists everywhere, fucking assholes everywhere. It's like, fuck you people, specious, racist, assholes doing asshole things. Now that kind of helps Shiro kind of like work his head a little bit differently towards the end of this season, so that way he's like, hey, look, this dude, he was an asshole too. There's asshole humans, there's asshole beastmen. Just look out for assholes and make sure that they don't fuck up shit too much, and make sure they get stopped. So we see that Nazuna is going to be doing a concert, even though I'm like, now granted, that fits within her purview. I'm like, yeah, cool, alright. But I'm like, is it usually what like religious figures do? Like, it would be fucking weird if the Pope went on fucking tour doing a weird concert singing songs. Granted, there's nothing wrong with it, just be fucking weird. But her objective is to reveal that she was human, and that she thought that would not do the Nervacil syndrome. Now, granted, we do see that Michiru is having it. In fact, she fires Boris as like her manager and shit, because he's fucking creepy and all that shit, and does listen to her when she's like, listen, don't do this, because Shiro had pretty much been a fugitive at this point and was getting other people to help him stop what's going on. But of course, Boris is like, fuck this shit. It says that she's a human, touches off the Nervacil syndrome. We see that the mayor is pretty much detained by the prime minister because he doesn't like beastmen and wants this whole shit to get touched off, but she's able to escape and kind of coordinate with what's going on. But the thing is, everything's going hard down. Shiro gets completely and utterly distressed and gets the Nervacil syndrome himself, and Michiru tries to stop him, but she bites him. He bites her, and everybody's like, holy shit. And of course, we get into the last episode, and we see that Shiro changes back and is howling because of what he's done, because her blood was able to kind of change him back and change the syndrome, get rid of it. And she's able to like record him like, yeah, I'm okay. And Nazuna's like, thank God you're okay as well. And I'm like, all right, fine. Kind of what happened. Of course, they hook up with the mayor because she has a doctorate. She's one of the first beastmen that had a doctorate in that kind of genetic stuff. They find out that like hers and Nazuna's blood can kind of fix that. And she's like, listen, you gotta give me time to do this shit. So they kind of go out. They try and stop Solasta from like pretty much turning people into humans, and kind of help as many people as possible. Nazuna really has more of a redemptive arc. Now, granted, it had begun, and I'm glad that they did, but she's like helping people out. She's like telling them to calm down and all that, and doing it with like a kid and everything. Like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Helping them out. Has to fight the Boris dude a little bit with her powers. I'm glad that we saw her use them a little bit. She'd used them to like do this thing to like help Alan Solasta, so that way the cult would be allowed into the city with the wings and everything. But she really hadn't used it as much as a fighting kind of style as like she uses it here. But we see that, of course, Solasta explains his whole master plan in this part. We see that he's able to pretty much beat the shit out of Shiro for a little bit. And he's got 3 heads for some reason in his Golden Wolf form, Ginro form. It's like, what the fuck? And can, like, blast shit. And it's like, holy crap. But, of course, Michiru has found out that the howl is able to calm the beastmen down, at least enough for them to howl with it and to kind of like keep them at a nice kind of standstill. So her, Nazuna, and Marie try and go to the concert venue to use the thing to turn on all the TVs and get it kind of broadcast to get everybody down. Of course, Alan Sebastian's like, fuck your shit. She's like, no, everybody should get a right to choose. And he's like, oh, screw you. And then, of course, pretty much tries to kill her ass, but of course Shiro pops up and just starts like knocking his shit out. You get to the point where you think he's like, you can't use the like howl, and he's able to and like blast his shit a little bit, and he's pretty much getting ready to kill him, but he stops himself, and we see that he starts having the nervous cell syndrome, so he was full of shit. And instead of killing him, decides to use the blood that he has in himself because he's got antibodies from Michiru to kind of calm him down and kind of fuck his shit up, and he's knocked out. It's like, all right. So their plans work. They pretty much get everybody situated. They get the serum distributed, and Nazuna then has become an idol in her own right, not having to do anything with the Silver Wolf. I think that there would be at least a little bit more repercussions, but because of her saving people during the whole end goal, it does kind of work out that I don't know how much time has elapsed, but maybe enough to people like, okay, she's okay. And we see that Marie's like selling shit and everything, her idol shit. I'm like, that works. And we see that Michiru's talking with Shiro, says, you know what, I'm gonna stay here for a while, kind of be who I am. I want to kind of test this out, and hey, I've got something important to contribute. I'm one of the only ones that have been human and Beastman, and kind of see how this kind of goes. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And Shiro's kind of happy about it, but doesn't show it in the typical kind of way. She's like, yeah, all right, that's kind of cool. And of course, the mayor's like, you know what? Since this nervous cell syndrome has been taken care of, I'm like, yeah, find that different kind of way. She's going to allow humans in the city as well, so that way everybody can kind of get acclimated and do that. I'm like, all right, cool. And it ends at a good point of like, okay, I would like a second season, but if there isn't a second season, this is a good ending. I love when a show is able to not rely on fucking cliffhangers, and you have an end to the overall arc. We see that Alan Savasta has been like taken out of the public eye. He will be dealt with probably we'll see kind of what happens to him, but he's like taken out of the company as the public face and all that shit, so he'd have to probably deal with all that kind of fucking doodah. But we can see him coming back at some point or whatnot, or that he's dealt with. They've got a good point where it's like, okay, the main arc is ended, there's a nice conclusion, everything's wrapped up nicely, but it's interesting tease of what's to come, not complete cliffhanger of like, no, find out next season. It's like, okay, cool, this is a good spot. I really like that you're able to pull off an ending like this. I'm like, I want more, but I'm okay if this is the end. That's a rare thing to occur. So, would I recommend this anime? Definitely. Now, some caveats. There's a lot of blood and violence and shit. Terroristic attacks, drugs and shit, human trafficking, not for little children. So don't do that. If you like good character development, with like Michiru learning to accept herself and figuring out what's going on with her powers and understand what kind of person she is while also fighting for her friends and helping them, yeah. Shiro and learning to figure out how to help people as best as he can, help his beastmen and help humans as well, because I think at the end he's like, look, his ultimate villain was a beast man in this instance. So he's got to kind of keep in mind to be like, if he's going to be that protector, he's got to take those things into account. Yeah. We see Marie doing her thing, helping out. We see even like crime people helping out, even though he's got like a stockpile of fucking a lot of shit. We see Nazuna have a nice character arc and a lot of character development. The action is fucking phenomenal. The art style really lends itself to quiet character moments, but action as well. It's just so fluid and fucking... Studio Trigger does action so well. And you learn to see him, and it never gets old because you just see the flow of the back and forth between two fighters duking it out and really seeing how they go through with it. It's like, yeah, that's really good. And the dub that they did for this, I think, worked very well. Kind of, I'm like, yeah, I can recognize that voice, but everybody felt distinct and didn't pull me out. I'm like, I really felt that they voiced the characters very well and really got them on those levels. I'm like, yes, okay. So I would totally recommend this, not for little kids because of blood and everything going on, but anybody else, definitely watch this. It's a really enjoyable time. It's funny, it's serious, and it's pretty cool. So those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.